That should work out. Okay. All right, friends. So we're going to go on and get started with math. And I know you all are really prepared. You got your paper and pencil with you already, which is fabulous. Okay, so we're going to go and start with math. So we're still working on arrays, but now what we're doing is going to look a little bit more like division because we're splitting everything up into groups instead. Okay, so I have right behind my head that I'm trying to get out of the way. I have a question that's going to be very similar to the worksheet y'all are going to see today. So I wanted to model something so y'all would be familiar with it, okay? All right, so we're going to go on and read this question, and then we're going to work through it together, okay? So Jason gave 20 pieces of candy to his friends. He gave an equal number of pieces of candy to each of his 5 friends. So how many pieces of candy did each friend receive? Now, this one, it didn't just blatantly say, like, hey, it has this many rows in it. We have to kind of think a little bit critically and think, okay? So, how many rows would there be, okay? And so, with this one, friends, the amount of rows is going to be his friends, okay? So, like we did last week, when we talk about rows in this case, we're going to number down, okay? So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so go on and number down 1 to 5. If you got it, fabulous. Mr. Boston's ready to go. I love it. Bianca's ready. Ariana's ready. So that shouldn't have taken too long, friends. So we know that he has his 5 friends. Now, I got to split up 20 pieces of candy equally amongst my 5 friends. So if you watched my video yesterday, we're going to be doing what I did there, okay? So we're going to be counting all the way up to 20 and putting a drawn counter or a circle, okay? Keep going down to each row. And we're going to keep doing that all the way until we get to 20. And then once we get to 20, we stop. We don't want to go past that, okay? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then when I get to the bottom here, I come back up and start over, okay? So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then I stop, okay? So this is what yours should look like so far, okay? If you haven't finished getting that down, get it. If you're ready, fabulous. Just hang tight for just a second. Okay, thumbs up if you got and you're ready. Looks like most of y'all are ready. Fabulous. Okay, now I'm going to go on and put a line in between these just so I can see them a little bit better. Okay? That way I can see each row. Okay? Now we know that in total there was 20 pieces, but then what we're going to do, because we need to see how many each friend received. So each friend got a certain amount. So looking here, can someone tell me an amount that one friend got? How much did just one person get? Mr. Boston.
4.
4 pieces, okay? Fabulous. And that's going to be our answer, friends. Okay? So they got 4 pieces each. Okay? And that's what you're going to be figuring out today. So each friend got 4 pieces each. Alright? And the one you're doing, first question is going to look very similar to this. Okay? I didn't have enough whiteboard space to go and put both questions on because both the questions are very wordy like this, but I know y'all are able to do it. So real quick, I wanted to share my screen with you guys just so I could talk about the second question you'll be doing. Okay? It's windy outside. Oh my goodness. Okay, I think... Here, hold on. Let me go move it that way. Okay, let me try this. Okay. Give me a thumbs up if you can see what I have on the screen. It should look like a worksheet. Fabulous. Okay, so it's kind of gritty looking, but I'll kind of use my mouse to point where we're at, okay? So right here it says use counters to model. Obviously we don't have counters at home, so these right here, what we draw out are our counters, okay, friends? But y'all, I feel like are pretty familiar with that already. So this was the first question we did. That's going to be very similar, okay? So whenever it says that each of those 4 friends, that's going to be the number of rows, okay? And then you're splitting 24 pieces amongst those 4 friends. And then you're going to tell me how many pieces did each friend get, okay? And if you don't have a way to print this out, that's okay. You can just do it on notebook paper, okay? That's totally fine. So this question right here, situation B, I wanted to talk about real quick because I don't want y'all to get confused when you see it, okay? So it says that Jay had 24 pieces of candy to give his friends. He gave exactly 4 pieces of candy to each friend. So how many of Jay's friends received a piece of candy? So what you're going to do there instead, I'm going to erase just so you guys can see and understand what it's asking you, because that one might get a little tricky. Okay, so on that one, friends, what it's saying is each friend we know for sure is getting 4 pieces. So we're going to start with friend number 1. So 1, they get for sure 4 pieces, okay? Because we know that's how many he's giving his friends. Then you're going to go to 2, give them 4 pieces, okay? So now I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you're going to keep doing that until you get to 24, okay? And once you get to 24, you stop, okay? We don't want you going past 24. I love that y'all want to keep counting and going and going and going, but we got to stop at 24, okay? That's probably my biggest thing with you guys, just because I noticed that in class a lot whenever we did things like this. So I just want to make sure that we know when it says to stop, or when it's got a total of 24, we stop at 24, okay? And then this bottom part right here, y'all don't need to worry about that where it says communicating about mathematics. I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about you doing situation A and situation B, okay? All right, do y'all have any questions about math? Y'all feel okay? Boston, do you have a question?
I want to tell you something about the paper.
Okay.
I can ask you afterwards.
Okay, that's totally fine. Okay, so friends, we're going to go on to reading, okay? So today I'm using a book that I know you've already seen, so we don't really need to read it. But if you need to go back and listen to it today, you can look it up on YouTube, or I think it might even be on Epic, actually. But if you can't find it on Epic, it should be for sure on YouTube, okay? But I know y'all remember Tacky the Penguin. That was a very fun read aloud we've done. So what we're going to be doing is we're talking about the big topic of the story. Now, when I'm talking about the big topic, I don't mean, oh, Tacky the Penguin, this book's about penguins, okay? Because then that's us kind of almost talking like this is a nonfiction book, which it's not. You want to make sure that the book you have is a fiction book, okay? And you want to think about those big topics it talks about. So yesterday in my video, if you watched it, put that over there. I talked about Weekend with Wendell, and what did I say the big topic was? I think it said the big topic was talking about friendship in that case, because that was kind of the big thing, is watching this friendship come about between Wendell and Sophia, okay? So that was the big topic there, okay, because that's what we were really focused on, okay? So in Tacky the Penguin, I know y'all remember, Tacky was a very goofy penguin, okay? He was a hot mess. Does anyone remember some of the things that Tacky did? I'll give y'all one of them. One of them was that he did cannonballs all the time and made a big old mess. Could he sing really good? Do y'all remember if he could sing okay? He wasn't a very good singer. And then whenever his friends, when they would count all nice and neat, he wasn't counting very nice and neat. He was counting all over the place, and it was a hot mess. Okay? So, with Tacky, he's very different from the other penguins. So I would say there can be many topics about a book, but I just want you to focus on one. So one I'm going to focus on with this book is that Tacky, he doesn't fit in. Okay, so the thing with him is he's different, so he doesn't fit in with the other penguins. Okay, but that ended up working out in his favor. So this whole book's pretty much about how he's different. Okay, so I'm going to start with my response. Okay, so I'm going to put 1. Oh, my marker's acting yucky. Okay, 1. There you go. Topic of Tacky the penguin is fitting in. Now, normally I would have kept it just one word. I'm going to put a line under that because that's the part you're filling in when you go and do this. Normally it's just one word, but in this case I need to make it 2 words. So if you have to make it 2 words, that's okay too. Okay, so one topic of Tacky the Penguin is fitting in. Give me a thumbs up once you got that part, because this is going to help you when you go and do your own later. Okay? So once you got it, give me a thumbs up. And I'll keep going. Bianca's ready. Fabulous. Ariana's ready. Aston's ready. Yeah, Boston, you good? Okay, fabulous. Okay, so that's just the first part. I'm just telling you, okay, what is one of the topics I know about? So a lot of this talks about Tacky not fitting in because he's very different from the other penguins, okay? So I'm going to say because, and now I need to give a reason. Oh, my marker's starting to go out, guys. Let me switch markers real quick. I think my black marker should still work fine. Okay, because... Okay, and now I need to give proof from the text. Okay, now there is a lot of examples of him not fitting in this book. You can give me more than one if you want. That is totally fine. Or you could just give me one. Just up to you. Okay, and the amount of time you can put into it. So I'm going to go with, at the very end of the book, do y'all remember the hunters who were trying to get the penguins, or they were hunting for penguins? But when they were talking to Tacky, the other penguins were hiding, but Tacky's sitting there acting all sorts of silly, and they're like, well, that's not how a penguin normally acts, because he's very different, so he doesn't really fit in with other penguins. So those hunters realized, oh, wait, Tacky can't be a penguin because he's not acting like a penguin. So I'm going to say, so one topic of Tacky the Penguin is fitting in because Tacky did not act like a normal penguin according to the hunters. Okay. And like I said, friends, there was a lot of examples of this in the book. So I could even say all the other penguins sing beautifully, while Tacky sings like a crazy person. Because, I mean, he does, obviously. We saw that in the book, and he was all sorts of crazy. And then we could say the other penguins swim gracefully, while Tacky does cannonballs and gets everyone mad. So, I mean, there's so many examples of that in the book that you could think back on. But, I mean, I wanted to work through this one just together today. So, if you want to practice this on your own with another example from the book, you absolutely can, okay? And that book is on YouTube for sure. I think it's on Epic, but I'm not completely sure with that one. But I know for sure it's on YouTube. Let's see. Do y'all have any questions about reading? It's really simple, and we're going to use what we're doing this week to help us with what we're doing next week, okay? Because it's going to kind of build on each other, okay? So once you have that written down, okay, you are good to go unless you have questions. Boss, I know your mom has a question, okay? So my other friends, if you already have that copy down, then you are good, okay? Turn off my video over